It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared, and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now. No need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
The things I do to complete a contract. Nice haircut, Smiley. Well, that explains the smell, anyway.
Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully, her rectangular eyes like letterboxes to the void.
Fresh meat. Bah. Nice. Plump. Banded like a chicken's leg, too. That may be so, but look at the...
With two shakes of her stumpy tail, the sheep turns away from you to peruse her hate.
Get your dirty little pup.
Did you expect a needle?
Being leashed by the Order once was quite enough. Being leashed by the Order once was quite... Being leashed by the Order once was quite enough. Rubbish.
You there. Come here.
This again.
Hey! Hey! Get me out of this cage and I'll make it worth your while. You in? Set me free and I'll set you. Your guess is as good as mine. Someone scream. A gentle...
Before you can even touch the lever, you hear a sniff and snort behind you as the snoring Magister mumbles himself awake.
Is my shift over? You here to relieve me? Wait, you're no Magister. You're a sorcerer. What are you doing here, filthy scrounger? Choose your words carefully. My fists ache to meet a new face. Those idiots can't even walk straight without mucking it up. Was it Rick's? I bet it was Rick's. Can't just leave the prisoner alone, though. I heard he might be the one causing trouble upstairs. What in the... A collared sauce freak thinks he can hoodwink a red? Ethan's name. I should have known there'd be trouble.
Так, парни. Всего больше. Чел еще.
So much for a peaceful stroll.
Мне не хватало опыта.
The prisoner's buoyant voice...
Ah, freedom. I'm nothing if not a man of my...
Ну ладно, ладно. Кунг-фу сильнее.
What would he have to gain by killing me? I'll have to keep my guard up.
Empty.
And I'm back where I started. Nowhere to go but up. Boring.
Блядь, что тут можно интересно перегнать за первого? Фиг его знает.
Empty.
Why, you're looking a bit more chipper.
Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
Студио.
No key, no problem.
Ты образумилась?
There you are. Not too tight, I hope. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ships. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Dungeon?
Index finger.
My word. Oh, well, a new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those source spells of yours? See what happens.
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into the earth.
My, look at the concentration on your face. All will, but no result. There you have it. See? The collar's function. It neuters you. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's.
She frowns and peers at you closely, resting the back.
Delusions such as these are rare, but not unheard of. I recommend a cup of mulled wine and another night's sleep. Is he? Oh, well. Some problems simply sort themselves. Now, where did I leave my...
Bloody murder. Looks like someone's hit the Hall of Echoes a little early.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles... Behind the magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and...
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does.
ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scared the living daylights out of him. His own shadow. We'll find out who did this.
She looks up at you with a...
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your... Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, they wouldn't be... It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest, well, you... Listen, I could use someone to keep... Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that?
Типа, нахер мне твое золото? Интересный вопрос.
Not in here, it isn't. You let me know if you hear anything. Whoever...
Почему?
No known associates. In fact, he seems quite averse to spending time with the others.
It was one of them. I know it.
This is such a dear lending it to me.
Put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate. They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them. I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on. One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one. Just stay apart when I reassure you and you shut up. Make me mad.
Так, еще один мешок, надо который... Раз я уже начал, так...
What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you've been quiet long enough to listen.
Please, please, please.
That's enough now.
You, Jill, is that right? I've a few questions for you. You are Jill, aren't you?
I ain't saying nothing.
Ну, неплохо,
Bloody
неплохо.
dwarves. I'll come back to you. But you better be ready.
No known associates. In
Нормально так
fact, he seemed
вышло.
quite averse to spending time with the others.
I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Так, ладно.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. That has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Come on, please, Losa. Be good, you scallywags.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than more appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
You, Jill, is that right? I've a few questions for you. You are Jill, aren't you?
I ain't saying nothing.
Bloody dwarves, I'll come back to you, and you better be ready to talk here.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Come on, please, Losa. That's enough now.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Sing us a song, I know you can.
A no doesn't become a yes over time, you know.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Come on, please, Losa. Be good, you scallywags.
This is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
It was one of them. I know it.
Так. Would you put a knuckle?
Так.
Please, please. Be good, you scallywags.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more.
Please, please. Be good, you.
Что так плохо слышно-то? А ну, так.
Scallywags.
Так.
Scallywags. Scallywags.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
She shakes her head.
Соло играет.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice. Deciding fates.
She eyes you quite seriously.
Not the future, no. But I can read the past in flesh. One of the perks of being an elf, you see. I'm quite good at it, too.
Круто, что они такое придумали. Нигде больше такого нет.
I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
А если я писюн тебе подставлю?
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, it seems you and another elf engaged in an action somewhat similar to the one I just performed. Only rather more vigorously.
Ты еще один эльф? Типа я с каким-то эльфом ебался?
Of course it is. The truth's right there, skin deep. But don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell.
Так, а подожди-ка, хоть с эльфикой? Нихера себе намеки.
Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
Ой, бля. Ебать, тут понеслась. Блять, ну такой я не ожидал. Ага, и типа я выступил на стороне магистров автоматически. Пипец, блядь, на такое я не подписывался. Бля, ну кто знал? Ох. Ты шо так гнать? Ай, бля.
Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, if I do say so myself.
Товара, да? Блядь, еще это. Покажите. Так. Вот, упрощенная организация. Давай. Организуй мне все тут. Ну, это что-то новое. Игра не крашилась уже миллион лет. Игра не крашилась уже миллион лет. Игра не крашилась уже миллион лет.
In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time.
Блин, почему нельзя вот такие вот, если сами уже эти мешки ввели, почему нельзя достижения получать? Конечно, рецепты это вообще нечто просто. Давай миллион. Как бы у них разобраться еще? Угу. Но не сегодня. Просто нет.
Everything's spick and span. Nothing left to do.
С чем же можно? А зачем? Ладно, пока воруем, что воруется. А управление с размером текста нет, я так понимаю.
Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. There you are. In the meantime, you'll find him on the other dungeon.
Index.
My oh well, a new life awaits. Why?
Currents of
My, there, for your own peace of mind. Is he?
Мы это уже просто
Bloody
сегодня
murder.
проходили. Не
Looks like
раз.
someone's hit the Hall of Echoes a little early.
Почему ты теперь тут стоишь?
It seems as though there's a pattern in the blood flow. That can't be natural. Ugly sight, is burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky enough.
She looks
I was you're one of the not with that. Listen, bring me a good lead, and I'll not you let
Так, так и стой. Ах ты.
so.
It was one of them. I know it.
Put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're the cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Теперь его тут нет.
Insufferable.
An elf.
Snake.
She chuck.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
She shakes.
Game for roll. Deciding fates.
She eyes.
I could lick your arm and tell.
She gives your.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, it seems you and another elf, only rather more vigorously.
She pats you on the shoulder.
There, don't you worry, darling. I don't lick and tell. Don't worry.
She looks.
Never.
Блять, а с каким эльфом хорошо? Пошли эльфа
There has
искать.
been a murder, Your Majesty.
Потому что
The Magister's more concerned than your
дело серьезное.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Серьезно, типа я с Фейном? Девочка совсем больная.
It's a register, sir. Good, good. Magister, you faring okay so far?
He tugs the collar of his uniform.
Sorry you're upset, sir, but we all wear what we wear for a reason. You head on in now. Williams will...
Ну, дружочек, ты...
How dare you classify this slop as food?
Edge officer. You seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter? Murder most foul. Murder most foul. And I strongly suspect you know all about it. Well, perhaps you're... Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
Индика человек.
To do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magister's more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
The Magister starts.
You look just like...
The Magister's face turns white. He makes a move to step backward.
It is you. Ifan Ben Mesd. I remember you. You were my captain's commander way back in the war.
The Magister's eyes darken. His face closes over into a cold...
I always knew you'd end up down low. Lower even than us nobodies in the rank and file. The higher the climb, the louder the splat when... In Fort Joy, you're about to fall further than you thought possible. And I'll be listening for the splat.
Не, дружок.
Happy landings.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your
Look,
Majesty.
I don't know you.
Окей, дружище.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with it.
Так, ну ведра мы не будем коллекционировать.
There has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magister's more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Простите, парни, меня
A broad
ждет.
dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
Coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
He turns his head toward you, looking you up and down, and smiles before turning his attention to the ship.
You look like a boy to me.
Блин, если бы ты еще в прошлый раз номер через бы перестал.
Listen, if you're interested, or get gone if you aren't. A ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to...
And? Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who never loved anyone but their own. But there's more. Listen close. There now, just like that.
Squeak!
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
No, you beautiful idiot. That wasn't any rat. It was the wheel. Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we'd been travelling for... Yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy. No indeed, boy. But that ain't my final destiny.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
Coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lips, and doesn't acknowledge you any...
Ты хамло.
You one of them? A divine order loyal? They killed a sorcerer, you know. They'll hide the evidence well enough, but make no mistake.
There has been a murder, Your
If you'll be pardoning me, I'll be much obliged.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you...
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
My, we are fierce, aren't we? Not to worry. I'll soon remedy that. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook? Goodness gracious me, what a bore. Off with you. Quite clearly, you wouldn't have done at all, should?
Хамло красное.
Knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us.
You!
Saucy!
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Name?
One of us will kill our own. They're picking
Well, you aren't here on my list. Scrammy.
Как скажешь, друг? Отлично.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out and takes your hand, turning it this way and that, examining it from every angle. Finally, he pinches your skin, gently tugging at it.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Oh no, my instinct to survive is quite strong, as with all mortals. I'm not sure why you would... Oh dear. I seem to have crossed some cultural taboo. How difficult. You have my apologies, human. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once. Ah, yes. The niceties.
Хамишь?
My name is Fane. I am a scholar from... Well, I am a seeker of knowledge. That is enough. It is pleasurable to meet you. Hardly. I've been reading this one for several minutes, and I have yet to find a single insight into the mysteries of the universe. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Oh, please. I have no interest in that. Your books are too full of it already. No, I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
The elf's face freezes for just a second before he waves his hand.
Oh, it's just one of my idle curiosities. We mortals do like to consider these things, do we not? Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book or respond.
Так, еще дословся поговорить. Так, дети, а с вами тут эльфа нет?
It was one of them. I know it.
You look like my daddy. His name is Frida. He's waiting for me at home.
Да. Что у тебя еще деньги?
I wasn't doing anything. Do you know Losa? She's a really good singer. I'm better though. Listen. La 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 la.
Такой себе.
Ah, there you are. Husband.
Чего?
Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical. Oh, they're not so bad. At least not when they're treating me, Madame Josephine Gribble de Peeve, with due deference.
The children break out.
What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. Nope. Trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already
already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer.
Серьезно?
As quickly as they came, the clouds clear.
Good luck, Chief.
Your Majesty, turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well,
Постараюсь
there
что-то
has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magister's more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Ладно, если было бы у меня воровство, можно было сначала их воровать.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fellow?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
Как она его снимает?
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
Нормально бабахнул.
What's happened?
Оба! Это убийца. Так, бухнуть надо обязательно. Привозить. Спалило только магистра. Что интересно.
The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. The dwarf lies in a heap. The dwarf lies in a heap.
Собаку увидел. Воин просто сидит. Так, ладно, пошли.
The hound paws desperately at its snout. It winces as it draws blood from its wet black nose and continues scratching. The dog notices you for the first time and snarls. The head...
You sorcerer!
It sneezes suddenly and paws at it.
Can't smell. Can't breathe. Too much. Please, make it stop.
The dog whines and continues.
Блин, нахрена-то собаку убивать.
Damn. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards. Not long before this thing snaps into splinters.
Great God, something's pounding on the hull!
The marking on the door was pink. You press your palm against the door. It doesn't budge. The door...
Something's breaking through! What in the hell are those things?
Ваше здоровье.
Gods damn it. Need to get off this wreck. Quick.
Открывайте.
Hey, good God!
He eyes the collar circling your neck, and
Another sorcerer!
Так как
the
ты
Magister's
догадался?
companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Even if I knew how to rip that thing off, I wouldn't.
Some crazy banshee comes screaming through, and
He whispers loudly to the other Magister.
don't just cower there, Rix. Take out your.
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand. The Magisters look to each other, then back to you.
Your lies.
Так, парни. Зачем это сделать? Вот это чахлух. Мое кунг-фу сильнее.
Ah, Alexander. Just in case we forget who holds us captive.
And you thought Rivellon was flat.
Давай договоримся.
You pass through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and a glorious jewel sits in the skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous insight.
No. What damn fools record knowledge on a pulp? It catches fire. It turns into must when wet. It cannot even...
The skeleton looks up and notices you for the first time.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book.
Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone that... Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me to take that primitive form. A mask that was stolen by that damned witch after her little scene. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. Indeed, just as sensible as getting off a sinking ship and leaving... I would say good day, but it seems quite likely that you're a...
The skeleton shrugs casually and
Так, подожди, давай.
Please, my time...
Так, пощади. Там он такой здоровенный, когда его убиваешь, что
A lifeboat! That means there's still a chance!
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the others.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there. Wait,
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Блять.
but wait. There's still people down there.
Плевать на всех.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.
Верховный судья. Блин, так не помнишь.
So the Order's right about one thing. We attract Voidwoken. Am I the lone survivor? Only one way to find out. His likeness in stone is a fool in my book.
Так, шкет.
This won't be of any use.
The child has a small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles, inspecting his eyes, his
I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. Are you a sorcerer? One of those guys that brings the bad void things here?
The child screws up his face and looks at you hard. He lifts his mirror up to his nose.
I don't see any source on you or me. I guess they're wrong. Or crazy. Maybe you're right. At least they don't mind where anyone goes. They know we can't leave the island, and it's a lot nicer out here than outside. But you didn't die. There isn't anywhere safer. That's what I mean. You'll see. I guess I am, but it's just normal to be scared. Nowhere isn't scary.
Так, дружочек. Сейчас ты приколишься. Ничего себе шкет. Блять, что это за турбо? Почему?
Void woken. Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn. They made it to shore.
Думаю, только с Фейном говорят.
I thought these bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay. The face is familiar. What's left of it? He was aboard the ship.
Нож на палке. Вау.
Look here, Quercus. Another giant. My word, this... What's that? Yes, I did see how it made short work of the great acorn servants. But that is no reason to trust it. Giants like that destroyed our forests. They are the very reason that... What? Dear me, have you taken leave of all 6 of your senses? You would have me use... Oh, I see. You cunning devil, Quercus. Of course, if it defeated the great acorn's vile servants, it can do so again. We need only follow in its big, wide shadow and be safe. Egads! It speaks our tongue, Quercus! Hush before... What do you mean, a good time for introductions? You know full well who I am, you silly old cat. The great Salora, grandest of the... Oh, introduce myself to the giant. I shall do no such thing. You give away your trust too easily, my dear steed. No, we will have the giant march. In time, we'll see where... Now, onwards! Shield! Venture forth, post-haste. The...
Ладно, с тобой мы потом поговорим. Хвост.
You spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. His skin... Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his, two smouldering embers that sizzle your
Indeed. Well, you certainly have a lot of nerve, haven't you? To act all... No need to play the innocent with me. Word has reached me, through a very sour grapevine indeed, that you turned your back on your fellow passengers, back on that... So much easier, isn't it, to look out for oneself alone? Of course I did. Takes more than some oversized cuttlefish to get the better of me. Besides, you'll find I wasn't complaining. I was making up. So, if there's nothing further... Out of the mouths of babes. A couple of children survived the ordeal with their tattletale tongues in perfect working order. If you really must know, I haven't quite decided yet. I've a frightful amount of things on my mind, hence my standing here contemplating the waves.
He sighs.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? White. Which goes for the dry parts round here too, I imagine.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil...
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see continents dotted with mighty cities. And shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost. Of course, it's rather specific. Quite obviously, I'm musing over the very actual empire that I lost.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am? Well, more's the damn pity, isn't it? For I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the World-Tamer, the spouse of the... Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause, during which...
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunity. The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have. This and that. Tag along. Do you really mean to compare the fate of an empire to whatever foibles you seek to fit? On the other hand, I really could do with a dog's body. Fine. On one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer, one of the mystics of my kind. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. You do tend to beat around the bush, don't you? Oh, well, that wishy-washy answer will... So, now that that's settled, first things... Even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out, it goes... As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you? Very well. Onwards then to
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so...
Now, as you're aware, you'll be travelling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particularly frivolous, as your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings. Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go. So, without further ado...
Ох ты ж, блин, противный какой. Ладно, мы пока выполним твой квест и отправим тебя нахер.
luck is about to change.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with a cute...
What? How did I get... Hey, stop following me. What? No, that can't be. I can't... Hey, stop Huh? Yeah, fine.
The cat opens his mouth as if to speak, but his eyes lose focus. The cat's eyes are clouded and grey. The cat's eyes are...
Блин, что там с ним сделать?
What's this? I found something. I need a shovel.
А у нас раб есть красный.
One must put in due effort if one is to reap the proper reward.
Почему они просто есть? Блять. Где второй ножик?
Hey, mister. It's a lot nicer here than that short witch who'd gone back to save the others. Though, I did see one of them wringing out their tunic at the shore a few hours ago. One, two, long get of the crew. 3, 4, 50 shells on the shore.
Boring.
Ой-ой-ой. Не надо. Кто это, котяра? Так, где зверь? Его надо. Блин, этот вход, конечно, но это капец. 5-й раз проходил, вообще его не видел.
I wonder where this leads.
As the alcove opens up, you see the same skeleton that you met on the... He's leaning over a corpse, prodding and pulling...
Bugger. How on earth am I supposed to...
Skeletal fingers reach down and grip the skin of the dead man's face, pulling sharply upwards. After a...
Damnation! That's stuck fast. I wonder, does the beard act as some form of anchor? Ah! No! Stay back! Oh, it's you. I must admit I'm surprised. Perhaps you're more buoyant than I suspected. It seems the human that stole my mask was rather more resourceful than I gave her credit for. I chased her here, but she rather seems to have given me the slip.
He turns back to the body, prodding at its face cautiously.
Why, its face, of course. What other use would I have for some rotting corpse? A face that seems rather stubbornly... I would normally employ a tool to delicately but viciously rip the face. I could then craft a mask to hide my bone. But as I lack such a tool...
The skeleton grabs the corpse by the cheeks and pulls hard, grunting in frustration as the body's skin holds firm.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I have important... I cannot simply sit about waiting for the rest of you to die so I may continue my business in peace. No. I may be an eternal... Indeed. I may be the only eternal. My people, at least from this realm. As for the others... Well... There is an excavation site at the Black Pit's oil fields. Perhaps there I'll find my... A cult? Hardly. We were a race that existed before the idea of race was needed. I could ask you to imagine an Eternal as a creature of incredible intelligence and skill. But I fear the limits of your imagination would not do us justice. We studied the mysteries of the universe. We created works of great art, but I will find them. Wherever they are, I will find them. We will have our world again. Ah, well, that is the curious thing. They are clearly absent. Every one of your races resembles them in some manner. And the statues you have built to your gods look remarkably familiar. Perhaps my people have ascended to some new realm. Regardless, they are not here. But I will find them. Wherever they are, I will find them. Well, that hardly seems relevant. But if you must know, several centuries, in fact, or perhaps millennia, I was sealed in a tomb for daring to be curious about the world. It seems our king did not agree that the universe should be... Perhaps I should thank him. It seems I was spared whatever happened to the others. I wonder if flowers would be appropriate. Yes, yes. Do, by which I mean shout loudly. I do not want you sneaking up on me again.
You hear a small whimpering sound from behind a basket. You peer behind it and find a small human child holding her knees and trembling. The child's whimpers crescendo.
Здравствуйте. Где так дурак зайти?
Go! Get out! You are not welcome here. Go, man-pig! This is my mistake. You are no pig. I am no...
Блять, ну ты, конечно, дерзкая. Шо у тебя тут есть? Оп.
I repeat myself?
Alexander. But wait, he's too well protected here.
Magister, now speak. Your godwoman has asked you a question. Answer him.
She's gone. Gone.
I don't think I ain't watching. That's your fifth purchase to this road.
What of it?
Where is he?
You there? I'm looking for an inmate. He wears a large bronze ring with a dragon stamped into it. Name of Migo. Have you seen him? None of your business, inmate. Find me if you hear of a...
Да-да, медальон я успистил.
Where are you? Right hand behind, quick.
She's gone, Farah. Gone.
That's it. I call court. Pay up.
Так. Пожалуй, пока что хватит.